I read an article about an interview that Jerry Schwartz of the Atlanta Constitution wrote, in which you said you were all over the lot, and you liked Charlie's Angels.
Yes.
But you, because why?
Because it's the only romantic television show today. It's not realistic. It's not about the gutter, it's not about the half-wit, retarded children, and all the other kind of shows today. It's about three attractive girls doing impossible things. And because they're impossible, that's what makes it interesting. It shows three young girls who are better than so-called real life.
Yeah, and you like that.
That's a romantic school of literature.
You want art to be romantic, don't you?
Oh, certainly.
You're not crazy then about art which reflects life?
Not the life of the moment.
Well,
I want art that reflects life long range.
All right.
I had a problem with understanding Miss Rand's philosophy at the beginning, or earlier in the show. She said that she only believed in a romantic type of art and didn't believe in things that were based on realism.
She didn't think that... You don't think art should necessarily reflect life, especially life as it is today?
Exactly, and I recognize other schools of art, only I don't like them.
I
prefer is romanticism.
I just found that a little bit contradictory with then when she said in terms of religion that she didn't believe in religion as we do because it's not based on realism, as she said, and more mysticism.
You're mixing categories. You see, the issue of religion is metaphysical. It's so in nature, in reality. Now, art is not metaphysics. It's not there without man. Art is man-made. It's a product of man. And when it's a product of man, you don't have to copy it. You don't have to say this is a fact because 10 men did it that way. You create your own art, or you like a school of which there's only one representative. Anything that is man-made is open to reason, but not by the same kind of mental process as metaphysical or scientific factual issues. For instance, here I can only recommend that you read my book, The Romantic Manifesto, because I couldn't cover it in a few minutes. The reasons why I can demonstrate to you that Romanticism is the best school of art, the best, most justifiable, but not the only one.
The books or writers that influenced you in those formative years?
Only one. One philosopher and one writer. As far as writers go, Victor Hugo, whom I discovered at 13, and that was the greatest literary experience I ever had, incomparable and incommunicable. I admired him enormously. The sense of lives that he communicated, the glamour, the grandeur of men, was so high above anything I had encountered in any other books, and certainly in another universe as compared to the reality of Soviet Russia, that I, to this day, owe an enormous debt of gratitude to Victor Hugo. And it's from him, in effect, that I learned the art of the romantic novel, in the serious sense of the word, the integration of plot, of action, with the theme and the philosophical meaning of a book. I don't agree with his philosophy, but I admire him as a writer tremendously. The other influence is, of course, Aristotle in philosophy, who is the only philosopher with whom I agree, at least in fundamentals, not in everything, but in that which is originally his, not in the Platonic element in him.
Why do you object to, or why do you not like novels which are close to life as it really is, naturalism?
Because I don't think it's art.
It's not art.
It's partly art. In other words, a naturalistic novel is an incomplete work of art. It has certain elements of art, such as characterization, or some of them have a good style. All that is artistic. But art primarily, and that I can prove philosophically, is a recreation of reality, not a photograph. Art is not journalism. It is a recreation of reality according to an author's metaphysical value judgments. Metaphysical
Does that mean that
meaning.
you write only about what ought to be, not what is?
Yes, but let me finish. I use the big word, so I want to be sure that the audience does understand me. By metaphysical, I mean the nature of reality as such, the nature of existence. It's his view of man and of the nature of existence that a writer or any artist really expresses in art. And romantic art presents to man what he might be and ought to be. That is, it presents an ideal and tells man this is the essential nature of man, and you as a human being can become that if you wish. So that art, in that sense, romantic art, is model building. Not, however, and I emphasize that, not for the purpose of improving or teaching your something to your readers.
Not teaching.
Oh, not teaching. Art should never be didactic. That's a secondary issue. That's pure gravy. The primary purpose of art is contemplation for its own sake. So that the purpose here is for the reader to see what greatness man is capable of and to be inspired by that.
So as I read Atlas Shrugged, then, and any one of the heroic characters, Hank Rearden or John Galt or Francisco, these give me a model of the kind of person I might be?
If you wish, but that isn't my purpose in writing.
I see.
My purpose is for you to look at those people and to enjoy the spectacle. As a secondary consequence, you might find yourself inspired. Yes. That's fine. But I want to give you that experience. And that's what I want to give myself. I write for the purpose of creating an ideal man in actions which you can respect and admire.
From what you say about art, I would judge you do not regard photography as art, since it records precisely what is there. How do you feel about abstract art?
Do you mean non-objective?
Non-objective,
I
yes.
think it's less art than photography. I think it is an enormous fraud.
Fraud?
Yes. I don't think there's... it's impossible to discuss it seriously. It means nothing. It is nothing. The perpetrators claim that they don't know what they're doing, and I think they're right. I'm willing to take them at their word. They don't know what they're doing, and neither do we. And the ash can is the proper place for it. But I mean it seriously.
Yes, I know you mean it seriously.
Just as in philosophy, she rejects every version of the mystic soul-body dichotomy, theory versus practice, thought versus action, morality versus happiness. So in literature, she rejects the expression of this same dichotomy, the belief that a profound novel cannot be entertaining, and that an entertaining novel cannot be profound, that a serious philosophical novel cannot have a dramatic plot, and that a dramatic plot novel cannot possibly be serious or philosophical. For good or evil, intentionally or otherwise, every work of art is a psychological confession. Through that which he chooses to present, an artist declares to the world, "This is what I think is important. Important for me to project and for others to perceive. This is the world as I see it. This is the essence of things. This is what matters." If a writer chooses to present as the chief object of his focus intelligence, ability, integrity, and the pursuit and achievement of great and demanding values, he reveals one kind of soul and view of life. If another writer chooses to present as his chief object of focus mediocrity, helplessness, depravity, suffering, and defeat, he reveals a different kind of soul and view of life. In either case, what has been projected is a metaphysical estimate of man's existence, even if the author knows that estimate only in the form of an emotion, of that which feels right to him in the creative process.